Welcome to Epic Flail. In today's show, Gav and I are going to be talking about where Warmachine is currently at and what we think is going to happen to Warmachine in 2026. If you're a Warmachine player, if you're interested in Warmachine, like and subscribe to the channel. We've got nothing but Warmachine content rolling out, so be a part of it. We've got loads and loads of really cool stuff to come. Gav, thanks for joining me again, my friend, for the second part of this chat. We've done one discussion that you people have seen on the channel of us discussing our reflections on the keynote. Go watch that video. We talk lots about the SR26. We talk about that January update and all the Spellrite changes and things in there. So go check out that video if you haven't. But today's video is a much broader discussion on just where we think the game's at and where we think it's going in 2026. So we're going to be reflecting on how SFG have done, what we expect from SFG, where the game's at, what the meta feels like, and a whole host of other things. So, Gav, I'm just going to jump straight in with a very broad question, but how is it going? Where's Warmachine at right now?
I think Warmachine's a great place. Like, we saw the keynote, loads of enthusiasm for the game from Steamforged, the C++ of the game. Loads of exciting stuff coming up next year. Loads of really interesting things. New factions, Menoth coming back. I'm sure you'll be keen on that.
We didn't mention that in the keynote. I just realised we didn't talk about that. Menoth are back.
Oh,
that's got me pumped.
I bet you're excited.
We know how I feel about Menoth. Yeah. As long as Harvey comes back and she can stop models dying.
Seems unlikely.
You never know.
I think she's dead. I'm sorry.
Is she dead?
Yeah.
What, spoiler? I've not read any of the lore since Mark 2.
Sorry, spoilers.
What happens to her?
I'm not telling you.
She's dead. She ain't dead. She'll be back.
Yeah, of course not. It's fine. She's fine.
Wait, can I ask a lore question before we carry on? Why is Lilith a dragon? And is that Lilith?
Right. I mean...
Oh, no, it's fine. All right, fine. We'll save it for another show.
It's a long answer, but the short answer is read the fluff. There you go. It's...
All right, anyway, sorry. Yeah, games. Menoth are back.
The game.
There's some energy in the game. There's some momentum.
There's definitely some momentum, which is really, they're really good at that. I think, like you're saying, they're just like really good at churning stuff out. Like, this is the new thing, and this is the new thing, and this is the new thing, and so it keeps the excitement levels really, really high. So it's really, really nice. Today's Warmachine Wednesday, hopefully. So yeah, we get that every week. Nice little boost to everyone's positivity and see what's coming out.
Steamforged are great at that. Steamforged are great at that community engagement element of like keeping the ball rolling. I'm not playing trap play devil's advocate, but it comes with a challenge in that, as we mentioned in the last video, it's a very different style to what PP did, which was kind of like create the rules, create the models, release and sit and build through press gang. So it does come with a lot of pressure, doesn't it? A lot of rules pressure, a lot of balance pressure. So how have they done with that so far? In terms of the models that have come out, the lists that have come out that you've seen at the table, has it felt like Warmachine of old in terms of like balance and consistency?
Balance and consistency is very good. What they've done though is that they've got this idea for asymmetric design, which I really like. And so that's that not every faction gets the same thing as everybody else. And that's really good. So it keeps the uniqueness of each faction, which is really nice. What they've done though is they've these new armies of gravediggers and the new trolls that are coming are going to have like a new element, a new way that the faction plays that gives them that unique identity. So I really like that. That's really interesting. So when you choose your faction, you also choose like a cool, unique flavor that they have as well, a different way they play on the table. So that's
how does Brett feel about Dusk's unique ability to not hit anything?
Brett's a little bit sad about Dusk at the moment. To be honest, I've given up mentioning Dusk. Like, it started as a bit of a joke, but now it's bad. So Brett's currently...
We need to get him on so we can talk about it, because I think surely that Colossal has helped. Anyway, that's
the Colossal helped. So we've played the game.
ADHD brain is sidetracking.
Yeah, we've played the game with the Colossal. They definitely recognise there's an issue. So the Colossals bring some really good, unique abilities for the Colossal, which I really like. It makes it really usable. Dusk as a whole, I mean, hopefully the January update, we're thinking it's going to refresh, revitalise a lot of factions. Not that they're bad. Like Winterkorps and Dusk, a little bit slightly stagnated and maybe a little bit. So freshen them up a little bit, maybe, and increase players' enthusiasm for those factions.
So we're kind of seeing this, your observation I think is a good one, that we're kind of seeing this rolling release plan that Steamforged are implementing with Warmachine. And I think there's a video that I've sort of been chewing over doing on and off. I've written the script for it. I've been written all the notes for it. And it's called why did Warmachine die? And the reason I've not done it is because it's not dead. So like, I actually don't want to. It's the only sort of thumbnail or message I could use to put the video out is one that's not true.
Yeah.
Because the actual truth of it is more nuanced. So like, I keep not doing it because I'm like, oh, it's going to be really hard to put a thumbnail out that I'm happy with. But in that, I'd kind of written about why Warmachine stopped. Because have you seen the documentary that came out?
Which one's that?
Have you seen this documentary? There's a documentary that's come out about Warmachine talking about like what happened to it.
No way.
And it's written, so you'd recognise some of the guys. No, I mean, it's a YouTube documentary. It's not like Netflix.
Oh,
so what did you think? I meant like Amazon Prime.
I definitely didn't think that.
You thought it was like
National Geographic.
You were thinking like Panorama Investigates. You're like, whoa, they're going to be talking about the House of Commons.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to have to watch it. It'd be like that Adolescence where they like made a policy where everyone has to go watch it. Otherwise, stammer a bit. Anyway, don't talk about politics, Paul. So there's this YouTube documentary where it's sort of like about what happened to Warmachine. And there's loads of comments of people, Ed Burrell being one of them, going, this isn't what happened to Warmachine. You know, good video, but this isn't what happened to Warmachine. And what happened to Warmachine, I think, you know, spoiler, maybe I won't ever do this video because I'm going to talk about it now, is that it's achieved stagnation. It achieved stagnation, and that stagnation actually was enjoyable for a lot of people, but it was commercial stagnation. And then the resetting of that to trigger commercialization was so disruptive and sudden in and amongst other competitors, you know, other games that are available, that people were like, what the hell? It was just a bit manic. It all felt a bit chaotic. And it felt like it had kind of gone from you rarely get any releases, you just get meta changes, to, oh yeah, everything's changing. So the sort of Steamforge's regular release, you know, keep the wheels turning, keep that momentum, keep the community engaged, keep the hype, is very different to that historic privateer press model, isn't it?
The privateer press model going way back would be one release per year, like one big release. It'd be the book came out for Hordes, a book for Warmachine, and they would have in that every faction had its update, its limited amount of models released, and I did like that at the time. But looking back, you just waited for so long for anything to change. So and then
once something was broken, it was broken for a pretty long time.
Definitely. And what they did was to try and get out of that is they did the community, the CID, the community integrated development was a thing they brought forward, which was very well intended, but it meant that weekly your rules would change. And so I got some friends that played, you know, Martin and Dave. They used to play. So they would go away a few weeks, come back, and then like, what does my stuff do? I don't even know what it does anymore. So it was just too hard.
You're getting attacked by a cat?
I am. It's a nightmare. He's an absolute nightmare.
I can hear that in the background. I was like, what is that?
Honestly, he's more vicious than Brett's Dusk cat. So I don't know where he is. Like, nightmare.
So we're asking your lower half. Yeah. Your lower half get ravaged by a feline. Well, we carry on, Gav. It's one of those dust cats. It can't eat anything. Don't worry about it. It's not going to hurt you.
No, this one can. This one can. He goes for squirrels. He's a nightmare. Anyway, so where was I? Lost my train of thought.
You were saying about the CID.
Yeah, the CID. So it was
not the police.
It was well intended, but it just created too much change. It was really hard for people to keep on top of it. So they went from one extreme to another, and I think Steamforged have hit the middle ground really well. The yearly January update saying that, you know, we're going to freshen the game up, new steamroll at the time. So we're all looking forward to that. But obviously it keeps the game playing well and playing honest. But they've also said if there are some outliers that we find, they will also tweak those outside of January as well. So that's just a really nice positive message that they, you know, the custodians of the game, they've got it in hand, basically trust us, and that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, I like that. There's one thing I would love to see in amongst all this, is that I think I'd just love to start seeing it in shops. I'd so love to walk into the local gaming shop down here on the south coast and see a box or a rule book or something. And I'm not stupid. Like, obviously that is really high up on the list. No one at Steamforged is going to be like, oh yeah, should we get it in shops? Like, Jesus Christ. And I know it is in some shops, but like, I feel like it's so important that this, if we're thinking about like 2026 for Warmachine, I think it's a really fair reflection what you're saying of like, yeah, this regular releases is cool, good custodians of the game, they know the game, they play the game, they're being very assertive, they're being very forward facing, they're very accessible, they're doing Reddit AMAs, they're doing, you know, they're very front facing, which is great. But like, I just really want this to be capitalized on by boxes in shops.
Yeah.
And I've absolutely no illusion that they're working their ass off to make that happen. But I hope it does, because my biggest fear for 2026 is that it can't break the mold outside of that. Because when me and you met in 2011, again, we were talking about this in the last show, it was a completely different world. The gaming world was so alien to what it is now. Like, it was a completely different
definitely
landscape and setup. And now, like, there are just miniature tabletop games for everything you can, left, right, and centre, and all the big brands are in on it now, right? Like Star Wars are in on it, Marvel are in on it. You've got all these massive IPs, and I know from playing all these games that Warmachine deserves so much credit for the rule system that it has and the experience that it creates at the table and the community that it has. But to activate that, there are two things that it needs in 2026. One is boxes in shops. Just absolutely, if it's not there, it can't be a serious game. And the second is like super solid community content. So like Games Workshop obviously is just this absolute monster brand that every single person in the country is pretty much aware of. And we know that, like, we've got the whole Henry Cavill series that's going to be on Amazon, and like that's going to be like a Game of Thrones moment for George R.R. Martin. That's going to be like, everyone's going to know about Warhammer. Everyone's going to know what Space Marine is. It'll probably be the pathway to movies, and it'll marvelize the IP. So like that explosion, I can only see creating two things. One, more games and more competition, but also more players. And I just really want Warmachine to be positioned so that when people walk into the shop and see the GW thing and go, "Oh, this game looks cool. Oh, but what's that? That's steampunk robots." That's different. It really needs to be in place.
Definitely, it deserves recognition for how good a game is. Definitely. I think the 2-player starters that they've got, there's a sort of, you got 2 different factions in a box. I wonder if that's maybe what that's sort of pitched for. You can get that in a random shop.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
And 2 people would pick it up, and you've got the models inside. But I know they come with like a QR code that links you to, I think, the Steamforged Discord. But yeah,
that stuff's a start. I mean, I think those sets are really cool. And I got the Shadows and Scum one, which I did a video on, which I thought was the best kit I've ever seen for Warmachine. And like the fact that all the rules are online, it makes it super accessible, which is great. Having said that, like, people like shiny stuff. You know what I mean? People like to get their hands on as much of the game as possible, which is why the GW 40k releases have measures it. It's literally like, do you have the box in your hand? Yes. You don't need anything else. You don't need to download everything. Every single thing you could possibly want to play is in that box. And I think that well, I don't know. We're getting a bit lost in the kind of like the marketing commercial element. My point is just that, like, for me, 2026 is a year for this game to get on a shelf alongside everything else, because it deserves a chance at people seeing it as a viable alternative to all the other games that are out there.
Yeah, definitely.
And my biggest fear with Warmachine is that it's been around for so long that it does have this like hardcore base of people that always dip in and out of it, and those people for sure will have been activated. We know they've been activated. We've seen these people. It's then stepping outside of that group.
Yeah, and expanding the community as well. So my concerns as well is like, how do you get, so somebody goes into a shop, they see this really cool game, they pick it up, they play it with their friends at home. But how do you get them to engage with the rest of the community? How do they find us? How do they join the Facebook pages? How do they find the Discords? How does that, obviously from being, which is enjoying it at home, but also enjoying the community as well, which is obviously amazing for this game. So that's
where like that's where you've got to get smart, because again, the 2026 is very different to 2011, in that 2011, what would happen is people go to the local gaming club and they see what games people are playing, and then they pick one of those games to play, and then they crack on and play the game, don't they? Like, they kind of like go, because that's what happened in 2011 with me, right? I went down to the York Club, met you and Brett. I was like, "Oh, Warmachine, I've been looking at this game, been really interested in it." Saw it on the table and was like, "How do I get some stuff?" And you're like, "Oh, they sell it in Travelling Man, the local York shop." Next day I go down to Travelling Man and I start buying bits like that. I think the problem now is that the hobby club is so overrun with GW, as you know from running a club, like what tends to happen is people walk in and it's just like it's so dominated by the GW disc, or it's just it is a Warhammer club.
Yes.
There's one in York, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's just we play 40k.
Yeah.
We just play 40k. Like it's the 40k club. So I think it's a really valid question.
It is, and so it's a concern obviously that I have as somebody that wants to make the community better and bigger, and and get more players involved. Warmachine was big before. It was, especially in the UK. I don't know about globally. I know the US had a really big player base as well, but it definitely shrunk down. Like we talk about, how did it fail? It didn't fail or die. It just shrunk, and to get that back is really tricky. So you need people playing in stores for other people to see the game being played. We need people playing in clubs for people to see the game being played, and this is probably going to be a little bit controversial, but this is one of the reasons why I don't particularly like War Room or War Table. Sorry, I
was going to say War Room.
I love War Room.
You mean the online? Playing it online?
Table, yeah, it's a great tool for people to practice playing games that are in isolated communities. That's really important, isn't it? So, say you live in the middle of nowhere, you can't get to a club, but you can regularly get games online. That's fantastic.
Or you've got two twin boys that don't stop screaming all day.
Or that as well. But what it doesn't do is that game that you've played there isn't in public. It's not an exhibition. It doesn't create a shop front for the hobby. And so my concern with that is the more people that engage with War Table, the less people that are playing in the local stores. And I completely get it. It's probably the easiest way to play the game, but it isn't going to create you a community in your local area.
But this is the thing. This is the elephant in the room, right?
Yeah.
When you think about marketing a miniatures game, a tabletop game, is that the game's great, but people play it for the community. We're all a bit autistic. If that offends anybody, don't worry about it. We're all a bit autistic, we're all a bit on the spectrum, and we like the building element, we like doing the thing and making the thing and rolling the dice, but like the bit that brings it all together and keeps us doing it is the interaction with other people and the experience of playing at the table, right? And the biggest challenge you have in 20, again, thinking about 2026 next year, is like the monopoly that GW have mean that experience, I could get a game of 40k in a couple of hours.
Yeah.
So I could text a group and go like, who wants a game of 40k? And it'd be someone, I'll give you a game, whatever. I could play tonight. I could play in hours. Whereas the journey for me to getting a game of Warmachine is obviously, well, for some people it might be hours.
Yep.
It might be hours for you. You could maybe text Brett or whatever, or you could text someone at the club, oh yeah, come around, whatever. But the average wait time from building and assembling models to getting a game is much longer for any game that isn't GW. So yeah, you hit a fundamental nail on the head. And I think that is the biggest challenge for any game outside of GW. It's like, how do you create the path by which someone's got the box, done the thing, and Steamforged will be thinking, well, you need a QR code, you go on the Discord, and that's great. That's an awesome start. Is to go, once you've got the game, come over here. We've got all these people, but really like that. I mean, I don't know, the Hull guys have started playing it, the Hull's Angels, like that. Yeah. I think if those old school clubs up and down the country that were playing the game can activate and get 2-3 people. There's some lads in Brighton that are playing at Dice Saloon, and they're now sharing and occupying a space alongside all those. Like I've played Warmachine at Dice Saloon. People come up and they're like, "What's it?" And I played MCP there as well, and like 40k players are like, "What's this? What's that? Is that Marvel or what's it?" So that exposure of the game and people playing it, I think would definitely help. But the point, the why I started with the original point of like, you've got to have the box on the shelf is. You've then got to go, oh yeah, it's over there. Yeah. They're selling it, the rule book's over there. Do you know what I mean? Like you can go buy the box and they go, oh great, and they go the box. Because if it's kind of like, you got to go online and blah, blah, blah. People were so impulsive, well not all of us impulsive, but we want to get the thing in our hands.
Yeah, definitely.
So we can start building it.
So, I mean, that's definitely got better. So Steamforged have got a better grip now on production and supply. That last year, earlier this year, was a huge issue for the game. So
some of it was a bit rough on it.
It was. So obviously trying to sell the game, trying to push the game, get people interested, really excited, and then they go away and try and find stuff, get stuff delivered, and they couldn't get it. That has mostly gone away now, and so it's really exciting because I can.
Yeah, it's way better, isn't it? Like there was a time I got a bunch of lads playing it down here, and it was like 3 months.
Yeah.
I was like, it's game literally 3 months waiting before stuff rocked up. Much different.
Definitely.
Yeah. Much different. Much better.
Much improved. Yeah, there we go.
But it's fair to say that, like, I just ordered the Chimera Colossal. Why? By the way, why are all the Chimera names impossible to say? Who's naming these? Who's named these things? Seriously,
someone not with dyslexia.
Yeah, I was just like the Trekkum Rajabor. It's like the Scatman song. I got an email, so I ordered that 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, and I got an email today saying it's been processed. So I don't know whether that means it's hitting print, but either way, it feels like that supply chain is quicker. Although it is still still being imported, right? It's still coming from US.
So that will potentially either come from Poland or the US.
We've got a set in Poland.
Yeah, it's a set in Poland now.
It's much quicker.
Yeah, much quicker.
It's
the
much,
UK one
much,
had
much,
some
much
teething trouble with the company, I believe, but it will come to the UK eventually.
Great, and then we're hoping to see in 2026 boxes on shelves.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I mean, so there are stockists in the UK for certain. I don't want to specifically name any company over another, but there are the big gaming stores online. Check out their websites. You can get it. They've got it in stock.
Yeah.
So the fact that people are stocking stuff that you can order and get it delivered within the week is great.
Yeah, you can get a lot of the stuff kind of next day after through, all the various gaming sites, can't you? But there are some models that are specific, like the Colossals and stuff,
that are still
and some bits
direct.
that you still kind of got to go direct to.
Yeah, and if you
SFG.
want the sort of the pre-release, pre-order stuff, you still got to go mostly direct through Steamforged if you want it to turn up in a timely manner.
Yeah, one thing that we didn't talk about with the keynote actually was the organized play sets and kits that are coming out and their emphasis or recognition of the power of the press gang stuff. So I think the press gang stuff is like more to come, right?
Yeah.
In terms of what they're doing.
They basically said if you check out pressganger.com, you go on there and you can basically express an interest to become a press gang or to be part of the development of the press gang or see what's coming in the future, at least be a part of a newsletter on it. So I've done that. I've not received anything yet, but I'm excited to see what's going to come from the press gang. I've been a press ganger before here in New York, so I'm really keen to see that coming back.
You were awful.
Terrible. The worst.
Awful. Some of the games you used to see played under your stewardship was simply terrible.
People going on tears and everything. Yeah, it's awful.
New players going for the first game and getting like 2 turns in while you just spent 4 hours thinking about what you were going to do. They were like going, does every game set this long? No, just against Gav.
Oh, that's not changed. Yeah, the press gang's gone, but I'm still slow.
Just physically, not mentally. Mentally, you're too quick. There's too much going on. That's why you're slow.
Sure about that.
You're slow because you're too quick.
Tomo came over to the club on Monday from Leeds. Drove over from Leeds for a game, and I had to take a call halfway through the game, unfortunately. But the game, bless him, it took about 2 hours, but we had 2 turns. He loved it, I'm sure.
Very, very, very on brand for you. Yeah. So we kind of talked about we talked about this excitement, the sort of regular releases. SFG stewardship feels really positive. It feels really engaging. One thing we mentioned in the other show was like, it's a group of people who know the game really well and are very passionate about the game. It's not just like a random brand that they're getting involved in. It's something that kind of they've all really, really means lots to them, which is good, which is really positive. We kind of talked about the need for boxes in shops. And I think the other point I made around that was like, I think Matt mentioned this in the keynote, to be fair, but like there's a great content opportunity for them to just start churning out and creating more content. Because I think to counteract the difference between 2011 and 2026, people spend so much time on YouTube. The other way you infiltrate the 40K market is by someone's just watched a 40K video. Now it gives them a Warmachine video. Oh, what's this? I didn't realize that. So like, I think that content vehicle really, really needs to be activated, engaged with, so people can people can kind of see the game. And that's something we'll be doing on the channel. That's one of the reasons why I think there's a great opportunity for the channel for us to really push into getting some Warmachine content out there.
They played during the keynote. There's 2 videos. There's one for the Narm trolls, Kithgard. It was really cool, really fun. Obviously, miniatures like all set up inside a jungle, like firing off the rounds and everything. It's just really nice video. Yeah. And then there was one where it's talking about the release of the 80 mils. The character Jack's all coming back. So that was a really nice one as well. Sort of getting the staff all engaged and chatting and being interviewed. So they're definitely up
cool.
in production of the media.
Do you think the community has been properly activated? Is your vibe that like all those characters, all those communities are kind of back in and engaged with it?
No, you mean like the old school community?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just not everyone's back engaged, but I think some of that is, having spoken to some of them, is that they just don't have a meta to come into. So, if you think about what Sheffield area and then Nottingham area, there used to be huge player bases in those areas.
Oh, it was mad, yeah,
and they're just not there anymore. So it's quite frustrating when I'm so. There's a UK Discord, so ask in the comments if you want to join it. UK Discord's really active, really, really good place, really positive place to chat. But my concern is it's a Discord. Unless you know it's there, without an invite, you'll never be able to join us. So please ask to join that in the comments below.
I'll just put it in the description. I'll just put a link in.
That'll be awesome. Yeah, so we'll get that out for you as well. So please come and join us at Discord. It's a really, really positive place. And it's got like the ability to find players in your area. So quite often we'll have people join and say, oh, is there a player in this area? And people sort of scrabbling around trying to find someone that's close-ish to them to be able to play. And that's obviously somewhere that we need to improve. We need to be able to get communities growing all over the country.
Yeah. Well, I remember in the days of old of various games, you could sort of like search for clubs and players that would play the game. I think GW games, you would be like, I want to play this game. Where are the clubs? I guess that would be a really good tool to have. So it's like you've bought the box, you've bought the set, there's a QR code that takes you to a website.
Yeah,
where you can just, maybe that's the Discord.
Steamforged have that on the Discord. So on the Steamforged Discord, there is a meta locator. So that is on there. That is something they have. How up to date it is, I don't honestly know, but that is definitely that's a start, isn't it? Definitely.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, definitely.
But the Steamforged Discord is obviously just full of so much information that's just constantly changing all the time. It's very hard to keep a tracks on.
What, because it's all the games?
It's all the games, but because they've got like a general chat and then faction chats, you can't really talk in the general chat because it's just obviously people from all over the world are just commenting and it just becomes word soup. So that's why I think that if finding your local chats and your local community is probably easier. And so the UK Discord is really good for that.
Yeah, I'll put a link in the description. So yeah, so what's your kind of like general? You're positive about 2026. We've kind of outlined not so much concerns, but like areas that there's an opportunity. There's a great opportunity for Steamforged, but I'm very trusting of your opinion because you played the game so much. And
we talked about some of the concerns I have for the Spellrite. I have faith.
Don't bring the Spellrite up again, Gavin. Don't be bringing that into this video.
I have faith that they'll get it right. Whatever they do, I'm sure will be fair and balanced. So the Spellrite is the only concern that I have really going forward from the keynote. So my cat's back. It's trying to tell me.
Cat's going ape shit about it.
They don't like Spellrite either. So yeah, it's the only thing that I would really have concern for. But having looked at some of those samples of what they're giving us for casters without the Spellrite, it looks good. So
pretty good.
The UK meta for next year, the event calendar that we've been looking at is like big and busy. The next year, early on in the year, you've got the Manchester GT has got a Warmachine event at it, and then there's the Welsh Masters. There is Lock and Load EU. There's War Manchester, and then we'll be running the Warmachine Weekender again next year as well, possibly later on. We're probably thinking October sort of time after the WTC. So we've got a lot of big 2-day events coming back, and that's great to see. It's a really good example of how healthy the game has become again. Because previously, it was just small local 1 days that were happening.
Yeah. That's great. That's good to hear, mate. That's but lots of reasons to be positive about 2026.
Yeah. No.
Even though you've now not got any calves because your cat is mauling your
literally,
calves.
I'm going to throw them out. Just.
All right. Before Gav gets ravaged even more, thanks so much for watching the show. As we've talked about 2026, what it has for Steamforged, what we kind of hope, what we kind of think is going to look like. Thanks as always, Gav. Appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel. If you're a UK player, make sure you're a member of the UK Discord. You'll see the link in the description below. Let us know where you're playing in the comments. If you've got any reflections on the video, let us know. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Cheers, Gav.
See you, Paul. Take care.